Welcome back to Boys Love, Boys Love. We are recapping Secret Relationships episodes 5 and 6 this week. And we have a super exciting guest with us today here on the pod. We have from singer, songwriter, icon
hero,
legend, hero, inspiration to us all, Twitch streamer,
Patreon top creator.
A true multi-hyphenate. We have Dabit with us here today. Welcome, Dabit.
Welcome back, Dabit.
Hi. Good to be back. That was quite the introduction.
Yeah.
Oh, I could have gone on longer if you wanted me to.
Oh, no. That's okay. No.
Proud dog owner.
Yes.
I've been good. Been busy working on some like new music and stuff. So like, yeah, I've been pretty busy, but always have time for BL. It's like a sacred time slot for me at this point, where I just
church
always set. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I set time out of my schedule every weekend to watch some BL.
Amazing. We love that.
And you've been watching a lot more during the week, right? Like you've been doing your streams like more in a week, which is nice.
Yes. It's like I've been so consistent with it, but like it's not enough. There's just too many BLs that are backlogged at the moment that I promised I would watch. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, watch this," and they've been asking for like the past like 8 months, and then I'm like, I'll get to it, and then like a new one comes out and I have to watch that. So it's like hard keeping up with the new ones also while watching like the older ones that are like still fan favorites. So yeah, I mean,
because the craziest part about the industry is they don't stop to let us as content creators catch up. I mean, they need to get the memo that we need to catch up before they keep releasing more.
We need a season break or something.
But here's the thing, like I think BLs in general, like the quality is consistently getting better and better, like story wise. Just production wise, and because it's like a big market at this point, it's getting better. So like a long time ago, I feel like it's a long time ago as if I've been like watching for like years, but like
2 years ago.
No, but like even up to last year, I feel like there weren't too many that were like, oh, high budget, like super good stories that you have to watch. Everyone has to watch it. But nowadays, all the BLs have been on point. And it's just like difficult to kind of like pick and choose which one I want to watch because they're all like really high production and like they're great stories, great acting, and it's just only getting better.
You've already seen all of Secret Relationships, so we're just gonna be talking about episodes 5 and 6 today. Did you watch it in real time as it was coming out, or did you wait till it was all out?
I always wait until the series is completely finished so I can watch it in its entirety without, like the limit. Like if I want to binge watch a whole entire series at once, I have the option to, which I almost never do. But yeah, and I also think, just for like, I love watching these BLs and like people love watching me react to them. But then I also like to support these BLs as well, because that's like the whole point, right? So I like to give a chance for everyone to watch him on like the appropriate platforms.
Watch the actual show first. Yeah.
I want to encourage them to finish it and then have me react to it and then like relive that moment for like a second time.
And plus then you can gauge whether the BL shits the bed at the end and like doesn't end well.
Yeah. And I guess so. But I mean, yeah, it's been. I love doing this, and like I don't know, it's just they've been really good at like. I've been really good at like voting spoilers at this point when I'm watching like a series that's just coming out. Like I started it as soon as it finished. Like I was waiting until like the last episode aired, and that weekend after, I immediately started it. And yeah, like I was off of X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I was like off of YouTube. I was like not watching anything. Made sure that I did not get any spoilers, and thank God I didn't get any spoilers because like I feel like this is the kind of series that just had a lot of like
twists and turns. Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, we luckily weren't spoiled either.
No idea.
We watched the trailer to like prepare for like the decision as to which one we were gonna watch.
Yeah.
But like even their trailer, we talked about it a little bit last week, but it doesn't leave.
No.
It doesn't have some trailer problems for movies where
Uh-huh.
it feels like you just watch the whole movie in the trailer
Oh,
and you're
okay.
like, well, what am I going to see it for now? Like I think the trailer is really good
Huh.
in being like, it's mysterious. There's like a whatever, but it doesn't really reveal too much, which is nice.
I did not watch the trailer at all. I just went off of what I've heard my other viewers say about it. They're like, "Oh my god, it's so good for this reason and that reason," and like they're very vague about it. So I usually like to go into a lot of BLs without knowing anything.
Really
like
cold. Yeah,
Mhm.
same.
Type of information that I got was that there are a few guys that like the main character, right? And
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my gosh, I really wanted to watch a harem BL. And I was so excited.
Don't say harem in front of Adam. Don't say harem in front
We
of
can't talk
Adam.
about harems right now, but
Ooh.
you know, I do support that endeavor for all BL.
That needs to be a concept somewhere. Come on.
Right, I don't want like, you know, A couple and B couple. Like I just want one guy
One
who's in
guy.
the center of it all, and like these hot guys that are just like, you know, getting like angsty and like just passionate over one person, and they're fighting to win his, you know, affection.
They are
To some
playing
extent,
around
that
with it
is
in this
happening
video.
here. Although this is like the bad version,
this is the toxic bad version. Where
yeah.
they don't want to
Yeah.
talk about like, well, let's open our minds a little bit. Excuse
Yeah.
me, are you open-minded?
Excuse me, are you open-minded?
Are you open-minded?
Oh my gosh.
Well, let's jump in. So we ended last episode,
Mhm.
and Dawn and Sunghyun had kissed,
A
and
passionate kiss.
then
Drunk,
Dawn,
right?
yes,
Drunk.
while drunk,
Uh-huh.
while Dawn was drunk specifically,
Yeah.
and then during the middle of the kiss, he called Sunghyun
Hyung.
Jamin
Mhm.
Jamin Hyung,
I mean, yeah.
which
You know, we'll never have that experience of being called Hyung in such a, I don't know.
I mean, we'll never have the experience of being called Hyung.
Wait. So wait. Okay, just I need a refresher because like it's been a little bit of a
yes,
while.
yeah.
So I know
Yeah.
Taemin and I know Suyeon. I can't remember the other two. Talon is the main
Talon?
character.
Tawn
right?
is the main character,
Sunghyun.
and
And then-
Sunghyun.
Songhyun.
the one that looks like City Boy Log.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah,
I want to
these
say to our
faces.
listeners, this is a Korean man who said that these two people looked alike. So it is not just
it's not just
us, my white ass being like, Asian people look alike. I swear to God, guys.
No, it's crazy. They have the same like eyes. They have the same smile.
Mhm.
Like just
Mhm.
different fonts. You know.
So they go to work the next day. Dawn has forgotten everything that happened last night, as is the classic trope of being drunk and kissing your
Right.
So they go to work. He's forgotten everything, and then Sunghyun actually does confront him and tell him, like, "So we
Right.
did kiss last night."
Which I
didn't-
was really shocked by. I thought he was gonna just he was just gonna be angsty at him all episode, and then like
Right.
at the end he'll be like, "What's
in the
wrong?
classic
What's wrong?"
romance trope
Classic
of like
BL.
not say the miscommunication being like just not speaking about things.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
Mhm.
oh, he's never gonna tell him he said it, and then
No,
he's
first in the elevator. You kissed me last night. You said another man's name. Who the hell is that?
It took him a little bit though. It took him a little
Yes,
bit. He was a little bit kind of like, you know, I'm not talking to you kind of in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
But then eventually it did come out like pretty fast. And I kind of like that
Yeah.
about Sungyeon in general. Like he's very
Me
like
too.
he doesn't beat around the bush, you know? He's just kind of
Yes.
goes for what
I
he
think-
wants.
I think all three Bachelor number 1, Bachelor number 2, and Bachelor number 3 are all so distinct.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I think even harder is like now that we throughout the course of the show have realized that Jamin and Soohyun are like out of their fucking minds. They're both they're out of their minds in different ways.
Yes.
Which is like also really nice. It's not the exact
Yeah.
kind of like energy,
not the
manic.
same energy.
I
Yeah.
feel like
nonsense.
Sungyeon is just like the poster boy of what happens when you come from a family that's very healthy and like you're
Yeah.
loved and you know you have
Mhm.
like good affection with everyone and like you know it's just like you can tell that he grew up in a very healthy kind of environment
Mhm.
whereas like the other three, you know, it's just they're a mess.
Well, throughout the episode, like
Mess.
Dawn is just like, "Why do you keep doing this? Why do you like me?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, this is just how normal people are, Dawn. Like
Yeah.
normal, nice people are just like this.
Yeah.
You keep hanging around with the worst people. In
Yeah.
the world.
Jamin had seen, we get a flashback that Jamin had been in the parking lot watching them come home last night when they were drunk.
I need Dawn to like get a security cam out here, or a Ring doorbell or something. Because why is everyone always watching him?
They're protecting him.
Yeah.
From themselves. We get a scene of Soohyun and his.
Yeah.
So Soohyun is one of our classic chaebols in media, which we love to see. His CEO dad comes and yells at him because obviously he had messed
ruined
up
the
that
big
meeting.
dinner. Yeah.
And so his CEO father does reveal that there's going to be an overseas branch, which seems to pique Soohyun's interest. So then our wheels. So we've been trying to just figure out the show as we go. So we'll like watch and then pause and be like, I think this is gonna
It's
happen.
gonna be this,
And then
it's gonna
guess
be
what? That it never happens. By the way, like we're
Oh,
never
yeah.
right. But so then RJ was like, oh, I think that he's going to.
It's either he is going to take himself and Dawn to the overseas branch, or send Songhyun to the overseas branch to get him out of the picture.
Oh, okay.
To not give it. Dabit, I don't know if anybody knows, Dabit is one of our greatest living poker players because he reveals nothing on his face. It's just a perfect poker face.
I could see the logic in all of that. I mean, you really don't know what's gonna happen. It could go like any way at this point. Like, and you think that there's like a set direction that things are gonna go, but like, you know, it's just like it always takes like an awful turn. You know, it's like that you never expect. So
for sure, there had been like a little bit of like tension in the office. Soohyun and Don go out to lunch, and then Don like wants to get out of the car. He gets like really annoyed. Blah blah blah.
He gets in his face.
He gets in his face. Soohyun grabs Don's face to like tell him basically that Jamin is the issue.
Yeah.
You need to like talk to Jamin because he's the real jerk in the situation. And in doing so, he like cuts Don's cheek.
Yeah.
So there is truly. I couldn't tell in the previous episodes if like there is a penchant for violence. We see the flashback of him hitting the guy who like attacked or like used Don in that like previous drunk scene, like with the soju bottle. But that also could have been like, well, he was like being attacked and like the full story was he was mad at this guy, blah, blah, blah. But we've had other moments where like he threw the baseball at the vase in the office. He's
punched Jamin.
But there are times where it seems directed at Don specifically that it seems like, this isn't a good situation either.
Yeah, now it's fully like actually hit him.
Honestly, like Soohyun as a character, oh gosh, I just wish he was a little bit more likable. Like just a tiny bit, you know? It's like he's such a pure villain.
Yeah.
And I think it almost, maybe it was on purpose to, you know, distract from another villain in the room.
Right.
But like the whole entire time I was like, what is Soohyun thinking? Like how does he think that acting like this is going to
work? Yeah. And all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, I've been in love with you. Huh?
Yeah, like, oh, the way you threw that baseball at me. Wow, like you have strong arms. I want you to protect me from now on. You know, it's like, what did he expect him to do? You know, it's like
Eva?
And then he gets like all shocked when he's like rejecting him and he rejects his advances and he's just. So then I guess he's, you know, using more force to kind of, you know,
get his way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Soohyun is an insane character.
Yeah. He's very extreme. Yeah.
So then we get one of our classic Stations of the Cross in BL that we call on the show. This is where Don comes back to work with the cut on his face, and so Sunghyun takes him to go tend to his wound. This is we love it. It's always a chef's kiss. I've never, ever had an issue with the tending of the wound. It's perfect. This is another classic one. So he's
doing the Neosporin
with a little Q-tip.
And they have was that the moment where he was like, let me stay by you,
Let me
like
stay
by
by
you
your
or
side.
something. Right,
Yes.
right.
Yep. So they have this conversation. He asks if he can stay by his side, and Don tacitly agrees, is
Yes.
how I will
Yes.
phrase
He's
it.
like,
He
okay.
nods. No, he does not say words. He nods his head, which is like the most non-committal commitment I've ever seen in my life.
I thought the same exact thing. Like he just didn't seem very invested. But I mean, to be fair, he just did get rejected, right, from Taemin,
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
confessed, and like Taemin rejected him in like the coldest way possible.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, I would still be shocked from that, and like I wouldn't know what to do. But I think he's just like giving him a chance, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that Don and I are very different people for a multitude of
Many
reasons.
reasons.
One of them would be that I would be the true villain mastermind behind this whole thing, and I would be dating all three of these men at the exact same time, and none of them would know. And if you play your cards
Okay.
right, you too can use my self-help guide to date multiple men and get their money.
I need Down to literally flip the switch and be like, you know what? Let me just keep all of them. I wish he could just
This is where the harem comes. We got a
activate it.
harem.
Exactly. That's what I thought was gonna happen. That's what I was expecting from this drama.
So he like agrees to this kind of maybe we're moving in a
Mhm.
relationshipy direction.
But I'm able to like hang out with you and like and at least express. So
Yeah.
Mama, he's for Songhyun, it's like, okay, all systems go, honey.
Yeah, because the next day they show up at work in matching couples outfits.
Yeah, he's like, what are you wearing? Okay.
Right.
I just figured I'd wear the same thing.
But at
David,
this
do you have
point-
anything to say about the couples outfits of Korea?
Yeah, I know that you
Oh,
yes.
I mean, I think people are doing it a little bit less nowadays because it is kind of at this point a little bit people see it as a little bit cringe, but like I think it's more about like the coordinated couple outfits now. It's like
Yeah.
you look like a couple, similar tones, you know, but like different.
Yeah.
When a
You're
long
not wearing
time
the
ago,
same
you know, in the early 2000s, like everyone was wearing the same. They had the same hoodies on. They had the same like, you know, they were like literally wearing the same exact clothes. And
Yeah.
that was like the
Yeah.
couple outfit. But now it's more like a little bit more subtle. So like I thought it was cute. But I also
very
thought that it
cute.
was like a trap.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Sunghyun is kind of his own kind of. I don't want to say crazy because it's not crazy, but he is
It's the
so
same energy that the other two are doing, but just in
in
the
a
positive way.
in a romantic comedy way.
Yeah, where he's
Yeah.
just like, no, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna like do it in front of you.
I'm gonna yell for you in the cafeteria at work, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's very expressive, not scared at all to show him how he feels.
Yeah. So at this point in the show, I have to ask you, who is the most attractive man in this cast?
Okay.
This is like choosing between 5-star
But-
Michelin dishes, honestly. Oh,
But
there's
like-
no 5-star. 4-star.
I think for me, throughout the show, it was Taemin for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean this is this is before the crash out though. But
Right.
like
Sure.
yeah, but like I really liked how soft he was, but then when he was assertive, like he was like scary. But like not in a threatening way at that time, if that makes sense. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, he just had this like I don't know, just like this look of mystery in his eye, and he also kind of looked very kind, and he's the type of person who would like, you know, just help you in any way possible, but at the same time, you know, he's like he wants what he wants and he gets what he wants.
Yeah.
I do think he is giving like my favorite performance on the show because it is so. He has the true reveal of like the mask falls off during the show.
Yeah.
And I think like it's so fun to watch him utilize. He uses his eyes so specifically.
Yeah.
So well.
Yeah. And
Almost
he
to the
looks
point-
nuts.
I clocked him way earlier in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Where, you know, I was seeing all these dynamics and I was seeing Taemin being very good the town consistently the
Mhm.
whole entire time, and I just kept looking at his eyes, but something felt a little weird. Like, and I
Yes.
kept telling Chad, I was like, there has to be something more. Like he's too perfect, and I'm seeing something behind
Mhm.
his eyes that's making me guess that he might potentially have something, some other motive or something else going on. Like
Mhm.
he
Yeah.
has a secret that we don't know. And then like
Yeah.
when the big reveal came out, I was just like, I knew it. But
It's very satisfying if you catch it
yeah,
early.
Probably down.
Probably down.
So you would be one of these men being like, Don,
I would be one of
I
these
would be on the parking
insane
lot.
men.
I'd be like, Don, do you want, let's go get a croffle. Let's go. Let's do
Yeah.
something.
Let's go get mint choco chicken or whatever. Yeah. Do all of it.
ew. I was never on board with that.
I would fall in love with Songhyun in like immediately. Like the second he expresses
Okay.
how like nice he is, I'd be like, well,
To me, Sungyeon felt a little bit too Disney Prince coded.
oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
For
he
sure.
felt like like everyone else seemed to have flaws, whereas just Sungyeon was just like so perfect. And I was just like,
yeah,
and a lot of
yeah.
times he was like a little bit tacky, you know, like he's just
Right,
very
right.
tacky in love
Yeah.
is what I mean, like corny. You know, like
Yeah.
he was like a little cheese ball, and I didn't necessarily feel any attraction towards him until the hospital scene, which is like
Yeah.
basically, yeah, that one hospital
Yeah.
scene, and then like the way that he treated his sister, I was
His
like, oh, that's
sister.
really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Listen, we just watched this thing for our Patreon where they were talking to like some high school girls in Korea, and they were saying like she
What's your
was so
fantasy?
assertively was like, well, bad guys are the hottest. Like she was like definitively bad guys are the hottest. And I was like, I don't think I've ever been that. I mean, I think I can be like, oh, that there's like an aura of mystery that I
Yeah.
think is there.
Yeah.
But for me, a bad guy is not hot. I still like a nice guy at the end of the day. This is why I married RJ. RJ does not give bad guy energy.
Yeah, I don't have the twitchy eyes. I'm sorry, everyone.
Not a bad bone.
Don's getting embarrassed.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
calling him like, sit here. Hey,
Yeah.
let's have lunch here. Come on.
They go out for like a little kind of mini date afterward. They go first. They go do
They
a four cut.
The photo booth thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like someday. I that's like one of the things that I want to do if I ever get a significant other. You know.
Do you have a go-to headband you like to wear at the photo booths? Are you a bunny ear? Are you a cat ear?
Yeah, who's your representative animal emoji?
Yeah.
Do you have one?
Do you have one?
I don't think I have one.
We'll ask.
I just
we'll
go
ask
for the
chat next time.
sunglasses.
You give me panda.
Oh, red panda or like panda.
Panda.
Oh, okay.
I think I like I like bear ears or cat ears. I don't like anything like too big on my head.
Great.
Okay, great question, Adam.
Okay, great.
Wow.
Just trying to liven the episode up. So they go out for dinner afterward, and Guno, who is part of
The
this
friend
friend group from the past with Jamin.
Yes, the
Right.
friend who was trying to get him out because he also wanted some investment information from Jamin.
Yeah. He shows up, he crashes the dinner date, and then makes Dawn feel uncomfortable. Dawn leaves the table and then tells
By being like, oh my god, like yeah, everyone who is nice to him, he like falls in love with. Blah,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. He was such a little louse like in college. Like he like didn't have nice clothes, blah blah blah. Like
he
was
worked a
just kind of
part-time
leech.
job. He
Yeah.
always had nosebleeds, which is such a weird specific thing.
I know
to
he used to
bring
get
up.
nosebleeds all the time. Okay, maybe it's just dry in South Korea.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Sunghyun, in the classic Disney Prince style, stands up for Dawn very valiantly.
He was like, I actually am the one that likes him. So
Mhm.
fuck off.
Right.
And leaves. I always get so frustrated. And I know it's like a cultural thing that they like that like in K-drama, you know, like your place in society, where you come from, they like there's a lot of weight and like importance.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's just like a when we watch it, it's like for me, I would be like, it doesn't matter, you know. And
Well, that's the entire crux of this show is like he is out of this world and is
Uh-huh.
trying to like fit into this world
Yeah.
facade. Like Don is trying to fit
he's
in.
trying to get this. Yeah, he's in this nice
He
job.
feels like when I went, I as a proud public school student went to a private liberal arts
College.
university, and I was like, everyone that I knew at
came from
college
like a private school.
came from a private school or a Catholic school or whatever, and all of them, their parents were still married, and I was like, people's parents stay married? That happens still? I couldn't believe.
Is it like are they insufferable like they usually seem like in shows, or like are they out of touch, or like
it's not too bad because like we went to school in Chicago, so it wasn't like we went to, and there are private universities in cities where I feel that still doesn't matter, right? Like the city itself doesn't affect the institution, but I don't know. I mean, like the people I definitely surrounded myself with were like regular people. It just was definitely more that they grew up with things that like I did not. I don't want to say I didn't have access to, but like we just didn't have the same experience up until that point. They didn't hold it against me, and I didn't hold it against them. But it was just very like clear once
they
we
were
got
just
there that I was
sometimes
like, oh
yeah, when they would like when people would share like experiences, like, oh yeah, I didn't have that. I didn't have that experience, you know.
Yeah,
but you were never like kind of persecuted for having a different background, or
though here was the biggest one. When we moved into our freshman year dorm, we were like, RJ and I were in a learning community, which was basically like
we were all the art kids, basically.
We were the art kids, and we stayed on the same floor in the same dorm room, or in the dorm building. And so we were like going around, and we were all talking at like that first week or whatever, and everyone was saying like where they got their dorm stuff from, because the exciting part of like moving into a dorm is like kind of decorating it to how you want to like make your dorm life, blah blah blah. And somehow we got on the topic of like where did you buy your dorm stuff?
Yeah.
And like I remember being like, oh, I went to like Walmart and Target, and everyone else was like, oh, I went to Crate and Barrel, I went to Pottery Barn. Like even like they went to IKEA, and I didn't. We didn't even have an IKEA in like Indiana at the time, so I was like, oh, I was like, oh, sorry, no.
Oops.
When I said Walmart, it's like a local boutique. Well mounted.
That's why it feels like so. We were talking about like, is it because it's so hard to get into, they put so much pressure in getting into university in Korea that like when you get to college in Korea, it is like you have earned, you know, the spot here.
It's just embedded in just daily life here, in like I don't want to say culture, but like it kind of is at this point. Like I've heard so many stories of with my friends, like when they were going to like elementary school or middle school, like starting from elementary school, you would already hear kids comparing wealth of their parents with each other, and be like, oh, well, we have this many rooms at our house, or we have my dad, we have this many cars, and like, and you know, it's just like always my friends who were a little bit more well off just didn't think too much about it, but like friends who didn't come from that kind of background, they always talked about how it was very like agitating. Like they weren't like necessarily bullied over it, but it's always something that's like you're reminded of.
You're reminded of it.
Growing up, starting from like elementary school.
Yeah.
I also had a question, and if you don't know the answer, it's fine. But I always feel like there is more of a pass given if you're from like the province, or if you're from like not Seoul proper and like lower income, but if you're from
like the
countryside, if you're from a more rustic area, there's almost like, well, of course there was nothing to have, so like you couldn't have anything, like as opposed to people who just didn't come from much,
are from like a working family in the
city.
city. It's frustrating because I think Dawn has proved that he is clearly smart enough now to be in this position, but the more you keep uncovering of like, well, yeah, is Soo-hyun's family the reason why you're in this job? And then technically Jaemin did tutor you in school, so you start to feel like, did I actually have any of this? Like, did I actually earn any of this?
It very much is giving cruel
Right.
intentions.
Like it's all
Yeah.
been manipulated
Mm-hmm.
Right,
for
because
him.
I remember he was actually telling Taemin that he didn't have money to be tutored, and then Taemin was just like,
Yeah, just did
Yeah.
it.
I'll do
yeah,
it. I'll do it for free.
yeah,
Which that is the one thing I think still I think I won't know until really the end of the show of like what does Jamin truly want? Because even what he does at the end of episode 6, I'm like, but why did you do that? What do you want from him? What do you want from him?
We'll come back to the part-time job situation, by the way,
Yes.
because that's going to come
okay,
up back
okay,
in
yeah,
episode 6.
Yeah.
So then after this scene, Guno goes and reports back to Jamin with what he saw. Like he basically
And here
followed
he
him.
was like, I did what you ordered me to. And he was like, ordered you? What do you mean? And he's like, oh, I meant like I wanted to find out about why Dawn wasn't at the hang. And even
yeah.
it's that of like he doesn't explicitly say the things that he wants done, but he has other methods of doing it. And it's like, oh my god, that's sociopathy. Ah.
Mm-hmm. I think at that point I was still trying to defend
Oh no.
Taemin. I was just like, there has to be a reason, there has
There
to be
has to
like,
be. People are just
yeah,
misunderstanding him.
yeah, you're just misunderstanding. Like he just has good intentions, just like like
Those are
questionable
just his
methods.
eyes. He can't help how his eyes are. His eyes are crazy. That's not him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, every blinking red flag in the world is like, this guy sucks. He crashes his blind date that he had been set up with the third heiress of a company, which I loved. The
third
specificity
heiress.
of being the third heiress is so funny to me. She had left in a huff, so he comes in, and then they have this very tense conversation about Dawn.
Yeah.
Because the whole show is about Dawn. And as Soohyun goes to leave, he says, stop doing terrible things like stalking people. That's stooping so low.
Stooping so low.
Have you ever been stalked? You ever had a sassing?
Yeah, I've never had a sausing, David. Besides us, obviously.
Besides us when we came into your house.
I mean, I guess not necessarily like, oh yeah, I've had fans like message my mom and act like they were my girlfriend.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, and like my mom would like send me screenshots and she's like, you have a girlfriend? And I was like, no. She's like, oh, someone told me like, oh, hi, 어머니, which is like, like
The
someone
like
that you call your like husband's mother,
Mother-in-law
your
or whatever.
mother-in-law, basically, right? And she's like, oh yeah, don't worry about David. I'm like taking good care of him. And,
oh
like,
my god.
yeah, it was when I was a trainee. It was back when I was a trainee, and like back when we were trainees, there would always be fans that were like in front of the company waiting for
Yeah.
you to like
Yeah.
finish practice, and like you would have a quick chat with them and like to the subway station. But like I had a few times where like they would follow me home, like not to my house, but like they would keep following me
To your
until
stop?
like no, to like where the area I live. And then I'm like, well, I'm here. I need to go home now. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, then they never like went inside as far as I know. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, they would like
Oh god.
That's
follow me to
crazy.
my living area. Yeah.
That's crazy. And one of those
That
men
was-
could have been Jamin.
And that could have been
And that could have
Jamin.
been Jamin.
Okay,
You missed your
if it was,
opportunity.
that would have been a different story. Do you want to come in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you like to share some ramyun together?
You said you like dogs, right? You want to come see me? I didn't have Karo back then, but yeah.
Sunghyun's big ask is that he wants to drop honorifics, not necessarily while they're at work, but while they're in private together. And it's a very cute scene. I love this. This is, again,
It's
we
my
do not have an equivalent in English that you can like decide that you're like more familiar with someone than formal. And I just think it's very charming. Do you have like when you meet someone new, is it like person dependent? Is it relationship dependent on like when you feel like you start to go toward that we like drop honorifics energy?
Partially. So this is part of the reason why I tend to like to date younger guys, because I'm more in control of
Yeah.
when I get to drop any kind of like honorifics or yeah, and because like I don't like those kind of stuff, so I like to drop it as soon as possible,
As
if
soon as you can.
possible.
Mhm.
So like it just makes me kind of relax a bit, and I'm able to talk more
Mhm.
freely, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's just I don't know. It just like when I'm using honorifics, I feel like there's like a huge wall, and I'm sure that goes for other people as well.
Yeah.
Honorifics
Mhm.
Yeah.
is kind of like very polite way to talk. But I remember like one of the guys that I met a long time ago. I was like, "Can we drop? You want to drop honorifics now?" And then he was like, "No," and I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Like I didn't mean to like, rush things or like, make you uncomfortable." He's like, "No, I just really like it when you speak in honorifics because it's cute." And I was just like,
and that man was Jamin.
And that's when Dabit became Jamin.
Sunghyun is walking him back up to his apartment. Soohyun shows up. They have a confrontation. Soohyun tries to drag him away. Sunghyun gets in between very
Yeah, he's
valiantly.
like, no, he's not gonna follow you. Blah, 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 blah.
yeah.
And Daon is just reminded once again. He keeps going back to the flashback of Soohyun beating the shit out of this guy.
Park
Yeah.
Jong-un.
Yeah. So he knows that like he is capable of violence, and that's ultimately
Right.
what he wants to avoid. He doesn't want Soohyun to kill this man.
Yeah, there is like for sure there is definitely like a domestic violence kind of like narrative, like
Yeah.
victim
Mhm.
of domestic violence narrative that like his like
He can't.
his reactions are
Yes.
very like coded that way.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so he gets in between them and tells Sunghyun to go away. Sunghyun pleads
Pleads to
to not do
go with
this,
him.
but he does anyway.
He does.
Even though he thinks he's doing it for Sunghyun's benefit.
Yes, benefit. And the
Right.
episode ends. And the epilogue was this one when he was writing the perfume letter, and then at the end it says Soohyun.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. No, it
reveal-
was a
Yeah, you're
perfume.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
it was a
yes,
perfume
the
one.
you're right.
The epilogue was that he was writing the perfume, the
Right.
gift that he was gonna give to.
That we had seen
We'd
already,
seen already,
but
right?
we didn't know.
We
We
he
thought
assumed
for
it was
Jamin,
he was giving it
probably.
it was for
Jamin.
Jamin because he was going
Yeah.
into the room, and then when they revealed, oh, we were dating, but he signs the end of the card and it says it was
Yeah.
for Soohyun.
Oh yeah. I was bamboozled. Oh my
So
gosh.
this is the question then, is like Jamin had set up the agreement in the church that they were going to like
Mhm.
tell Don that they were in a relationship together. Did he know that Don at that point liked Soohyun, and so that's what because
think
then we're supposed to learn that Jamin also everybody
everyone
likes Don.
I think I think he found out or knows that Daon and Soohyun could get together. So this was like his final plan. Like
Tactic.
he or like this
Because
is another
Soohyun
plan.
still believes that he likes Jamin.
Soohyun still believes that
Daon likes
Daon
Jamin.
likes Jamin.
And
Yes.
so but
Mm.
Jamin knows that
Because
Don
Daon
likes
never got to
Soohyun.
because that's the thing. Daon never got the opportunity to say that he likes Soohyun.
But the thing that
Hmm.
confuses me is that like I think okay, so here's my guess of the
Mhm.
series of events.
Mhm.
He meets Jamin, he develops a crush on this like senior of his, like
Mhm.
he's very sweet to him. Over the course of their time in college, he starts to have feelings for Soohyun instead.
Yeah.
He goes and has this thing. Jamin has already noticed that he likes Soohyun
Soohyun.
more, so then he uses the tactic of the like fake relationship.
I think to like scare Soohyun to be like he's never gonna like you.
It's the only way to make sure that he doesn't date me is
doesn't
that we pretend to date.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then because Soohyun leaves, then he goes back to liking Jamin. So when Don says previously, when he like reveals that he liked him,
Mhm.
he says, "I've liked you all this time." That's not untrue.
Yeah.
Because he has liked him since the beginning, before he even
Since-
went to college.
Uh-huh.
But there was a period of time that we didn't know about where he did like Soohyun instead,
Yeah.
or not instead, but
He also
maybe
liked
more.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because they're really using this 11-year gap to their benefit to like
Mm.
show you exactly what you need to see in that moment,
Yeah.
in moments. It's really smart because then you're like, wow, they have all
Changes the whole
the
dynamic. Like
yeah.
I literally had to, after watching, I watched basically from 5, I finished the whole entire series in like
Mhm.
one sitting
Mhm.
from 5 to 8. But like
Mhm.
after episode 5, I needed to pause and I needed to like reorganize my brain. And I was just like trying to reshuffle all of the timelines in my head and like
Mhm.
who had a crush on who and like why. And
Mhm.
I was so confused at that moment. Like, and shocked.
It's very interesting how the show uses flashbacks because they use the what I do really like is they'll show you a portion of the flashback and then later you'll
Yes.
get the
The
full
full
scene of the
scene,
flashback.
yeah.
And I love that. What I hate, and like multiple dramas do this, this is not specific to secret relationships. This is
Mhm.
not specific to Korea. This is not specific to BL in general. I feel like this is everybody everywhere does this. They will flash back to scenes that
That just
literally
happened.
just happened. And I will be like, I am so clear that we just saw this. I know it happened. You don't have to show me again. It drives me up a wall. We talk about it all the time in our reactions. Okay. Episode 6. They
Episode.
they get into
They
his
get
apartment
inside the door,
Had
and
a
they
little
start immediately
sleepover.
making out.
and he is okay. He is making out, like he is going for it. And in the reaction, I literally had to walk away because I was like, I did not expect this entire time. I was like, oh, it's one sided. There's nothing reciprocal about it. And when this happened,
Oh, so you still okay? Interesting. You think it was reciprocal?
Reciprocal in a way of like he. Okay, so my theory is that.
Oh yeah, RJ has a whole.
My theory is that while Jaemin and Soohyun were fake dating, Soohyun and Dawn were hooking up because Dawn still liked Soohyun at the time, and I think Soohyun probably just like went with it and maybe said like, "Well, Jaemin sucks, whatever, blah blah blah." I'm like,
He was quote unquote cheating on Jaemin with Dawn.
Which then to me was like, oh, Dawn now feels guilty because he feels that he probably thought that he was like, I'm the other woman. I've been doing this to
my friend
Jaemin, which probably then adds on to the guilt that he feels of like, I have to let like I do what he wants because I basically was sleeping with his boyfriend. When they started hooking up, I was like, oh, it's like that all of that connected to me, and I was like, they were in a secret relationship this entire time, or they've had a secret relationship.
Yeah, I get. I mean, I definitely I had the same thought process as well, and I think there was a lingering moment. I do think in like through that whole interaction, he did dislike it and he didn't want that advancement. But I do believe that there was a split moment where he was kind of like losing himself in that moment.
Yeah.
And I think it makes complete sense because like they were kissing for a while and I was like, okay, I was waiting for him to push him away because he had
push him away. Yes.
And he's not one to shy away from telling someone how it is.
He's told him not no before. He's like not got in cars with, you know?
Right. And the only time he hesitates is when it's Sungyeon's, life on the line or, his so I think he had the ability to do that, but he just didn't because he lost himself in that moment and he was kind of, reliving potentially his older self.
The old passion. Yeah.
That he never got to fully,
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you go with RJ's version of events where they were raw dogging it all the time.
Right.
The thing that happens during this makeout session is that Soohyun promises that if he keeps looking at Sunghyun like that, he will kill him.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, now that you've said it, now I'm afraid that that's on the line now.
Yeah. We already got the gun on the show. I don't know what's coming. He spends the night.
And the way Dawn walks out, he's supposed to just be like tense, obviously, but it's so funny because the way he walks out, it does look like he's been
Do you think so? Like, I actually had I was confused about this, and I had to ask chat. I was like, did they not? But then like they said that he had a blanket on the couch. But then I was like, okay, if he has a blanket on the couch, why is Suyeon shirtless in the bed? Like, and I was just like, yeah, I don't
You
know. Yeah,
cannot leave the way they kissed, and then the way we cut it immediately in the morning, and he is like
right.
half naked.
I think here's the hard part of like it, right? Like either they didn't do it and it's all fine, which I don't think is like narratively quite interesting, to be honest.
No.
The other version of events is they did do it, but then you have to grapple with either that Don didn't want it, so effectively would have been raped,
Mhm.
or he did want it and now he feels guilty that
He's-
he did want it, and
yes.
he
To him, he
has
feels
a
just
lot
as
of conflicted
culpable.
feelings about Soohyun in general, and like
Mhm.
blah 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 blah. Or was he doing it to like
To appease him,
to
so that way
appease him?
to-
Right.
Yeah,
It's all very complicated.
Yeah.
Um.
people are complicated.
So
But
he
the walk of shame is good because
he walks like
he walks like he
was.
And literally, as soon as he takes a few steps outside,
Sunghyun's right
in
there.
comes Sunghyun. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So then Dawn rejects him as Jaemin watches, or I'm sorry, as Soohyun watches from his little perch up
Yeah.
above to ensure that he doesn't have to kill Sunghyun now, which is insane. Also, this is these people's boss. To be so
To be
clear,
that's your boss.
this is insane. HR doesn't exist.
No. Not at LB Construction.
No. So
No DEI, no HR, honey.
back at work, Sunghyun and Soohyun end up in the elevator together. They have this face-off moment. I do think that I like how Sunghyun's character is this like really sweet puppy dog, but also gets into like a guard dog about Dawn. Like I think it's like it's like a nice contrast. And is very protective of him. And then they have this like moment where he's like, I think you're doing this because you feel anxious because you're losing something, blah, blah, blah. And Soohyun's like, I didn't lose anything. Yeah. Is that Soohyun's problem? Is that he's insecure? What is Soohyun's problem? Is he just nuts?
Is he just...
I think he's just... Yeah, I just think he's crazy. Like, yeah, he just has really bad anger issues. Like,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I don't know where it's stemming from. And that's why, like, I just... If there's anything that I wish that the show did differently, it's to make Soohyun a little bit, like, I don't know, a tiny bit more likable. And I feel like there would have been more conflict in me for like who to root for at least. Because like, you know, everyone seems to have their good side and bad side. And like, you know, he's like rough on the exterior, but like on the inside, he has like at least, you know, pure and good intentions. If it was something like that, I would have been a little bit more like sympathetic towards him. And I would have been like, okay, but maybe, but he's just like evil, like...
They just have that one scene in the first or second episode with his niece. That's the only thing they give him.
So it's like you're supposed to get that like he feels all this pressure from his family. Like the family is also just using him as like a tool. Like his mom is like, I just need you to inherit the money. We don't want it to go away or whatever. So there's that, but that is so cold already. Like that's so like high drama, like soap opera feeling of like stakes that I wish that maybe if the sister or the niece maybe came back, or like just a little bit of humanity to kind of be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think the show is like trying to give him not the narrative of being likable, but you're supposed to empathize with him because of his like station and his family situation. That's why we keep getting these scenes where his dad, it seems like a true psycho.
Yeah,
villain.
when his dad
is cleaning a rifle and points it at him, like what are we doing?
Right.
Like that's insane behavior. But I think, to me, weirdly, I think Jaemin has the least kind of likability, because for me, I feel like I saw that he was nuts really early on.
Yeah, and they
even,
kind of just
even
like,
in our first recap, I was like, he's
a little crazy.
He's weird.
And they just let it linger.
But
like,
then
they
the problem
keep
is,
doing
like,
little things throughout.
if you make Jamin the master manipulator, which he is, everything then gets skewed under the lens of like he's manipulating everything. So like for
Every
me, I
interaction.
can't root for Jamin at all. Like, let's say this episode aside, right? Like the insanity of this episode aside, I couldn't even go into this episode rooting for Jamin in any kind of way because I don't trust him on any implicit level.
Yeah.
Soo-hyun to some degree, I see why he is the way he is, and I feel like I could be like, if you figured your shit out first, left Dawn alone,
Okay.
figured it out, and then
Yeah.
came back in like 5 years, maybe we could have something. Although technically that's what he already did
That's what he already did it, 7 years.
by going away. So.
Yeah. Wow. No, I was complete opposite. I was like, Jamin just really loves him, and he's just very protective. And like,
that's how you show love.
And I was just like, honestly, like, he'd be a great partner as long as you don't break up.
Oh my God, Dabit, stop!
Dabit,
please,
shaking Dabit.
No,
snap out of it,
Dabit.
You just need to be faithful to him, and like he'll never ever betray you. He'll guard you with his life. It's like, and then chat was like, "You're insane." It's like,
you are insane.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
You know what? That's the best part of the show. There's a man for every
kind of freak.
Every kind of freak. He's
There's
got
a man
something.
on this show. So if you are interested in dating Dabit, you now know what he's looking for.
Yes.
He's looking for someone with crazy eyes.
Crazy eyes.
Yeah.
He wants someone
Loyal.
who's a planner.
Uh-huh.
Type A, maybe.
Yes, yeah.
So then, so at work, they have this weird scene in the conference room together where Soo-hyun, like,
it's just flaunting it basically that like he's able to whatever.
Yeah, he has the power now.
Yeah.
Power trip.
And then he takes Soo-hyun takes Dawn home, and he like finally reveals like his true feelings of being like, I like you. This is so late. All of these people are doing this way too late. This is so late. 11 years ago, this could have happened. So he says he likes him, and this is when Dawn is like, why do this now? Like,
yeah, literally what we've all been saying. Like, what good will this do now?
Why are you torturing me?
Yeah,
right.
So he officially is like, I
do not like you.
I don't like you. This isn't gonna happen.
Because to him,
I know.
He just kind of ghosted him, right? Like he just disappeared.
Yes.
So that's okay.
Wherever.
And I think that's what we're gonna be revealed is that Jamin probably also was the mastermind in that like. I'm thinking he told his mom. He was the one that told his mom, like, listen, your son's gay. So
listen, trouble's afoot.
Send him away right now.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be your son's gay. It would be like your son likes a boy. So it's like this. It would be you need to get him through this rough patch.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
You got to send him away.
Yeah.
Because he clearly in the flashback when he's abroad, they color grade it really yellow. Almost like American movies will do to like any scene in Mexico. Like all of a sudden, like the sky is yellow for some reason.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's so clear that he's supposed to be like in Malibu or something. Like he's supposed to be in like LA, basically.
Yeah,
it was so funny. So then we have this sequence where Don is at this like construction site. He's picking out tile. It's very boring. Meanwhile, his sister Dasul is working a part-time job, even though he told her not to. Mm-hmm. And at the part-time job, this guy gets in her face
because she
spills on his white sweater, which she should have given him the K barbecue like little cover they give you, which I was obsessed with every time we went anywhere. She spills on his sweater, so then he like gets in her face. She trips over a thing and she injures herself.
She injures her arm.
So at this point is when Don finds out, and he is like emotionally distraught.
Sung-hyun is like, let me drive you.
Drives him to the hospital.
Right.
The best part of this scene when he walks into the emergency room, by the way, is he just opens the first curtain he sees and sees a woman bloody, and he's like, she's dead. And then his sister just walks up with like her arm in a sling, and she's like, hi. And he's like, oh,
sorry, ma'am.
It's so funny. And also, guess who's here?
Oh,
Jamin's here. And this is again what we're talking about. Dabit is just so sweet
He's
that
just
he
sweet.
saved his
He
sister.
cares for
Yeah.
Dawn's sister.
I love people who like, if someone treated Kano like that, like I would
Exactly. If someone set up Kano to get his arm injured and then took him to the vet for you, that's kindness,
That's so
baby.
sweet.
I don't know this. If I don't know this, then it's just all romantic, okay? Like
Yeah.
Dabit, we're gonna have a conversation after the pod is over.
Yeah,
we're just gonna do like a wellness check-in, honestly. They go out and have this conversation. It's so okay. So
He's mad at him
Don
first. Don
scolds
scolds
Dassel
Dassel, yeah.
because he told her she shouldn't have a part-time job.
Mhm.
This is where I really have this question about the part-time job thing. Is the part-time job, because it's now been brought up with Dassel and it's been brought up with Dawn,
With him, yeah.
with the
The
Guno
shame.
conversation yesterday or in the previous episode.
Is there a shame that like goes with like high schoolers working part-time
High
jobs?
schoolers or college students, like if you work a part-time job on the side, is it like, oh, you have to work a part-time job? Like, is that the energy that it's like, it's embarrassing?
I think so. I think I don't I think that's like not the main part though. I think the main
Mhm.
part is like that college education in general is such a big part of
Yeah.
success in Korean culture, and like it's the one
Mhm.
thing that like our parents and grandparents generation never had access to, right? So that's
Yeah.
why they push so hard for us to have what they never had, and that like to them equaled success. So I think because of that, like all these parents make so many sacrifices so that their kids can go to school and have an education without having the burden of having to, like so do stuff for the family, like feed the family,
Mhm.
make more money, be a workforce, So it comes from that culture. So I think in general, when you try to protect someone, you try to and when you show that you love someone, you try to have them go
Mhm.
to school and only focus on school.
Mhm.
And if they need money, then you would make the sacrifice to
Supply
help
that.
them. And the reason he was mad is because that she didn't tell him. Like if she
Yeah,
told
she
him,
lied.
I wanted money, I want some extra money because I'm like struggling out here, then he would have more than gladly gave her more money.
Yeah.
But she didn't do
Mhm.
that, and she went behind his back and worked. And I think that's why he's angry. One, because she lied, but also because it's like, why are you throwing away, you're risking your education
Mhm.
opportunity.
Yeah, he knows he knows that the home situation is bad, and he obviously got his ticket out through doing well in school and getting a job later.
Which Dassel like brings up, right? Like she's like, you let like our siblings look up to you. They can't. You left as soon as you got a job and you were able to get money. I'm just trying to do what you did. Isn't that okay?
Yeah, it's the method, I think, more than necessarily her want that he's frustrated by.
Mhm.
He just wants her. She just wants, I think, her to do the same plan he did, which was like get out the right way, per se.
But Sunghyun does see the whole exchange, so he kind of like runs away from that again because now he knows.
Sunghyun has ended up in
Right.
every family conversation that he's had on this show so far. Somehow, when the dad came and screamed at work, Sunghyun was there.
Right, but like I think also when throughout his interaction with like all those family talk and like all those like backstory talk, like he never got the full story, and I think that's why initially when it had to do with the father, like he was a little bit judgmental about that, and then like he eventually let it go, not because he knew what happened, but because he was like, okay, I'm sure he has his own circumstance.
I'm sure
But
his
when
own
the
reasons.
sister called him out, she like threw everything out. She just was like, this is how it was for you. Dad's like a like a gambler. He's gonna blow all our money. So like it's like, so she basically outed him in front of like Sungyeon, which is the one person that he was trying to protect dignity
from knowing him. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
He wants to have a fresh start with him. He wants
Yeah, because Jamin already knows the full backstory.
Yeah. And keeps inserting himself
into that backstory.
Okay.
So he does have a conversation with Jamin outside, he tells him that he's going to handle it, and
Yes.
doesn't seem like Jamin takes that information
Jamin is not
well.
happy. He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "No, I can handle
I got
this.
it. It's
I got
fine.
it.
You don't have to help."
Don't have to help.
Oh, uh-oh. Dussel comes over for dinner. They make up.
They make up.
This is funny to me because previously in a previous episode she had mentioned she doesn't even know where he lives now, and then she just showed up at his door, which I thought was very funny. But she shows up, they have dinner, they make up, and then at the dinner, I like her character a lot.
I like her. Yeah, me too.
I think she's really great. She brings up that she's like, I have this weird nagging feeling about Jamin because this whole thing happened at work, and then all of a sudden he was just
at
there.
the hospital.
No, I think she was saying he came to the restaurant.
He was the one who brought her.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she was saying that she never told anyone about her part-time job. So she was like, I have no idea how he found out that I was at this part-time job.
Right. And like, in case listeners, you've never been to Seoul, it is such an incredibly massive city that it would be very circumstantial to just show up and be like,
"Oh my god, Dussel, you work here?
You work in this tiny little nothing restaurant.
There is a cafe, a little pasta restaurant, a sandwich shop, a gimbap store at every corner."
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
but Dawan is like, "No, that's just a coincidence. He would never do that."
Right.
And kind of like brushes it off. And so she's like, "Oh, okay." So I know in my mind, I was like, okay, obviously he is going to use this to connect the dots.
To plant the seed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
And then she says, "So who's that other man? Who's that
other boy you brought
boy?
to the hospital?"
Yeah.
We do not see that in that conversation. She just asked the question. And then
Jamie's just like, Dawn is just kind of brushes it off. And she's like, "Oh, okay.
Well, gotta find out for myself.
I'll do it myself, honey."
We get a scene of Jamin in a very like thriller movie scene where Jamin's in the car, the shadow is cutting off his face. The guy from the restaurant comes and collects his funds.
And he's like, "This is not what you promised." And he was like, "Yeah, because I told you to just scare her, but she fell and broke her arm. So
now what?" Yeah. And then,
but you're right. He's such a sweetie. It's just a misunderstanding. I'm sure there's just something.
We didn't see the whole picture that Debbie did.
Yeah, we didn't know. Dassel meets Sunghyun at a diner because we get this entire flashback to the hospital. Basically, when Jamin and Dawn went outside,
they never came
and
back.
Both of them shirked their responsibilities to this little girl.
And the nurse was like, "I need to give someone your discharge.
You're a minor.
Yeah.
I have to talk to your guardian.
Your guardian that I can talk to." So Sunghyun does come back, or he comes back because he wanted to bring her stuff, and he happened to be there. She's like, I'll do it.
He gives her all her like treatments. He shows her how to wrap her bandages. Blah blah blah. It's very sweet.
Got her little uyu.
Yeah, very nice. So then at the diner, she offers to pay him back for all the things that he had bought for her, and he rejects her. But the difference is that he's like, "I know how important it is for you to feel like you pay someone back, so you can pay for my like little drink that I'm
just
having."
pay for the drinks,
which is different than Jamin, who has never allowed them to offer any kind of compensation, so that everything keeps snowballing,
accruing to like, look at all of these things that you owe me for.
And then she gives him advice. She asks him if he likes Dawn, and she tells him that all you have to do with Dawn is you just have to stay by his side, and then he'll finally like you. Which is basically the exact same thing Guno said the day before, but it's different when it comes from his sister versus this random guy.
Yeah, but she was like, you have to just ignore all of his like, just like his like tsundere kind of, tendencies where he acts all cold and stuff. He's just being stubborn, but just take your time with him and he'll eventually come over.
Because he doesn't mean those things. He doesn't mean to be cold. Yeah. He actually really cares.
They're back at the tile factory again. I don't know why we are at this tile. We're picking out counter tile swatches or something.
Yeah.
but like, if I remember, I said this comment as we were watching. I was like, at least this is a safe area where Jaemin
No
and
one's
Suyeon
watching.
no one's watching.
Aren't there?
And like every
It's not
single
on the
other
clear.
encounter that they had, they were always interrupted by one or the other.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
I thought it was a little bit nice that they had like a little
Mhm.
time where they didn't have to like be like, oh my gosh, are they here? Like who's gonna come and like
Yeah.
sabotage us? Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam was scared though, because he was like, "Can we not do it in like this industrial lot where there are blunt objects nearby? Because if Suyeon does show up, a piece of rebar is gonna get like
Thrown through
at
somebody.
someone."
Yeah.
I was so close, but I was really off at the time. Who knew at the time where this was going?
Yeah.
At the little factory,
The tile factory.
it's not even, I don't know
Match
what I think
factory.
it's like. I want to say
It's a
like
lot for, and they're just like, yeah, like
I
a
think it's like
manufacturer.
exterior siding or
Yeah,
something
it's
like that.
Yeah, it's like a tile manufacturer or something. Yeah.
So Sunghyun once again proclaims how much he likes Dawn.
Yeah.
He says he's been
not
waiting.
going to give up. He
he's-
will wait.
He will wait for as long as it takes.
He says like, yes, I do feel like embarrassed. Like I don't like how pathetic I feel, but I can't help it because I
like you so much.
I like you so much, and I'm going to do it.
But Dawn takes his hand
Takes
out
his
of
hand
his
away
and walks
and
away.
walks
He
away.
rejects him yet again.
And it was shot so beautifully too, like
Gorgeous.
the sun. Oh,
Mm.
It was like clearly, I think they shot it like dawn.
yeah.
It was so pretty. Soohyun, Soohyun bought Dawn a ring. He shows up with a fucking ring. This is insane. Is it a purchased ring or is it just the ring
the ring
from
that
the
he
past?
got?
Because I think it's just
No,
the
it's-
same ring he just gets.
It's the same ring from the past, and that's why it was in the quick flashback. They did a quick flashback where he's like, "Do I just need to give you this ring?" And I thought that was like a recent thing. I was like, "Oh, maybe I forgot that part or something," because it looked recent.
Yeah.
But then it connects to the last after
Yes,
the
the last
epilogue.
epilogue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
epilogue. Yeah. Where they're like all sweet and like But like if you notice, the ring that he kept trying to give him was like way too big first. It was like loose. It was like about to fall off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's fucking ugly. It's an ugly ring. I was like so annoyed. I was like, get that out of here.
It was a measly 10,000.
Yeah, so he offers him the ring because he said at one time he was supposed to accept
You're
it.
you're gonna accept it.
Yeah.
And this is when Dawn says we can't go back to how things were before.
Mm.
And then this
Soohyun.
sets Soohyun off, and he's like, "You need to understand this whole situation with Jaemin is not what you think it is,"
Yeah.
and truly, finally reveals the incident with Park Jung-un was all him. He was the reason he got sent away, and he's the reason, more importantly, that Dassel was hurt.
Mhm.
And
then he
Or
connects
does-
the pieces.
does he say? I don't think he says the thing about Dassel.
He says the Jong-un in a way, and then
He connects the
he
dots in
connects-
his head.
in one of those flashbacks that you love so much that where it just happened.
They cut to the
They
scene
cut to the
from
scene
2
where
minutes
Dassel
ago where
being
Dassel
like-
was talking.
Jaemin was right there. It's almost like he knew that it was going to happen. So he runs. He texts. The scene next is Jaemin getting a text from him saying like, "Hyung, can we meet?" And he was like, "Yeah, come over to my place." So then Jaemin, so sweet, made him a pasta dinner.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
so
gorgeous.
He knew he'd be
Ugh.
hungry.
He's such a
Yeah,
good
he's
guy.
such a good guy.
Ugh.
But then as soon as Dawn comes, Dawn immediately is like, "Did you
Confronts
do all
him.
of this? Did you do the John thing? Did you do the Soohyun thing? And now did you do the Dassel thing?" And I thought he was gonna lie, but literally
I
the
thought
face
he was
crack
too.
happens. The face crack happens, and Jaemin says yes.
So hot. No, okay, but
Oh no.
so like this is like I think this is a twisted side that I like about Jaemin. Like when he flips and you can
Mhm.
clearly see where he's like in his very like caring mode and
Mhm.
like I thought he was going to deny it, but then like his face just drops into
Yeah.
a very like kind of scary neutral kind of position where he's
Yeah.
just like like no
Yeah, it's like,
soul in his
yes.
eye, and he's just like and he literally
It's
just
been
says,
me this
"Oh."
entire time.
Yeah, he says
Yeah.
"oh," like which is like the
Uh-huh.
shortest, curtest way to say yeah. It's
Yes.
not
Yes.
even like yes.
Mhm.
It's like yeah. like it's nothing. He just like admitted it all like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Is that a problem though? Because like I've been doing this and that, and like."
And it's all because I love you.
It's all because and then he says, and it's all because I love you. And then
they make out,
or he
tries to kiss him.
But tries to kiss him on the couch,
and it becomes like he grabs him. He is forcing himself on him to the point where Dawn fully kicks him off.
Did you
and
see?
He's like, no,
he left.
He left a mark on him.
He left a little hickey.
He left a mark on him, and that's when Dabit was like, "Give me a cigarette." And then
so anyway,
then
Dawn
that's
is
not the craziest part, which is
and then the episode ends and nothing else happens.
yeah.
And Jamin
grabs a butter knife. By the way, it is a butter knife, to be clear.
In our reaction, Adam was like, "No, it's a steak knife." I'm like, "Adam, that is not a fucking steak knife. Look at it."
Yeah. He grabs a butter knife. And first I was like, he's gonna hurt Dawn.
He's gonna hurt Dawn.
Yeah.
Which
worse.
Obviously doesn't make sense when you think about it, because the only person who's been violent toward Dawn is not Jamin. It is Soo-hyun.
Yeah.
So then you see, first of all, I like how they set the shot up because they don't show it happening. They just show they frame the shot so you see like him
leaning on the counter,
and you get this, and you get the sound, the ASMR,
squelch,
the
squelch, and he stabs his arm, his wrist,
something.
No flinch in his eyes.
Yes,
no,
not a flinch.
Full crazy eye.
3 stabs. You see the blood splurting. And Dawn is just like
horrified.
What are you doing?
It turns into a horror show.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the episode before the epilogue, which is the full scene in the library when he offers the ring to him.
He offers the ring. He's like,
which is a very sweet moment. Like,
yes,
it's so incredibly sweet.
Yeah,
Soo-hyun was like sleeping. Sweet. The watching of the sleep. Dawn was watching him.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's like he's using just the right amount of like assertiveness where it's like hot, but like not like, like angry.
Yes. Yeah. And then we reveal that Jamin had been listening behind the stacks.
So okay.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
This goes back to my theory. So that is the confirmation that
he was like
Jamin knew he likes Soo-hyun.
Dawn likes Soo-hyun.
So then, because after this scene is, I'm sure when he wrote
the church.
is the church, but also the perfume. So the letter.
Yes, yeah.
So that all that has to happen before he can go to give the letter and be like, and then they're already in this agreement of being in a relationship together.
But then going back to like what Jamin ultimately wants, I mean, like he rejected him when Dawn confessed, right, in the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, okay, so then Jamin does not want to be in a relationship with him, and it's true. He does not want to be. He just wants to own him.
He wants to own him,
like fully own, and do whatever he wants with him, which is crazy because it's like you should.
Well, I do think it's very important
to. So you could have done this before. I feel like.
I think it is a metaphor that he is an architecture professor, so he was planning everything out, right? I think like that's its own kind of metaphor there.
So it's the ivory towers. It's
academia.
Academia is the real villain.
Yeah. Close the schools. We're already doing that here, David. I don't know if you've heard,
but schools are getting
it's
shut
going
down
really
here,
well over here in America, David.
Right.
I have no idea where this is going to go. I have no idea
where this is going. Because now that this has happened, like, is he going to cry wolf? Is he going to be like, look what
Dawn did to me?
Either Dawn or Soo-hyun or someone. He'll blame it on someone else.
Yeah, he's obviously not going to be like, I stabbed myself with a butter knife.
I don't think it would be Dawn too, because it's like another way, or it's the ultimate like, look, I'm going to tell everyone that you did this to me. You are indebted to me forever. You have to stay by my side now. Which is Dabit's dream situation.
That's the true situationship he wants to be in.
Are you going to use handcuffs?
Dabit, at the end of every episode, we always pick an MVP.
Debian, obviously, like he
100%.
he wasn't throughout the episodes, but like that final reveal, like yeah,
It's delicious.
yeah, and like they gave us hints that he was the villain all along, but like I never thought that he was gonna like be I didn't think that he was gonna be one step above Suyeon. Like I didn't think that was
Everything, yeah.
possible. I thought Suyeon was the epitome of like the bad guy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This twist at the end is I mean, this is like, if I was an actor, this is like, I would be clamoring to eat this up, because this is so twisty and fun and schlocky and like kind of like the B horror energy of like the blood spurting onto his
Yeah.
face is so funny. Like, I was very scared watching because I do not like horror, but like once I had seen it once, then I could go back
You
and
watch it
appreciate like
again,
the fun of the whole show. Obviously, this is insane. I'm not saying this situation is good, but like the show is like so purposefully rising the stakes every single time that it's like they're all having so much fun doing it. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. Oh,
who's your MVP?
Yeah, I think I really liked Dawn in episode 5, just because that was also the last time we got to see the rom-com, right? Like of him and Sunghyun, of like Sunghyun being like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, blah, blah,
The
blah.
photo booth and the
photo booth,
resting the head.
resting on the shoulder. I was like, oh my God, that's it.
It's
I
so
understand why people would fall in love with him. But yeah, episode 6, like Jaemin just kind of like takes it. I will say Dassel does a really good job too. I think we wrote her off early when on her first time she came up, because I was like,
yeah,
oh,
same.
I don't know where this is coming. But she
like,
really
what's the purpose of her, right?
What's the purpose?
Yeah.
They it's not the stereotypical like, oh, I'm just doing this to rebel against you because you left us. Like, she still cares for him, but still understanding, like, I know why you're doing this. I'm just trying to also do it too. Like,
and she sets up that motivation of being like, well, there's 2 reasons that I really like that character. She sets up previously the motivation that her biggest thing is she wants to get out. So like she asked to live with him, and he kind of is like, no, you're not going to live with me. So this explains why she would then go get a part-time job. But the other reason I like it is because she ties into Sunghyun's thing where he doesn't have any siblings.
Yes.
So he's able to like kind of be like an older brother energy to her for this like hospital scene, which is I think really sweet too, and gives him a lot of like nuance as a character.
Okay, yeah. I didn't think about it that way. Yeah.
Mine is because he had said earlier he wanted to like meet his siblings, because he was like, I don't have any siblings of my own. I think I said mine is for sure Jaemin. I just think he's like so unhinged. It's like so fun. That face crack of when he like loses the facade completely to just be like, it was me. It's so good. It's too good.
I think in that moment, in my like reaction, because I briefly rewatched it like in 2 times speed. I remember in that scene when he said, I literally burst out laughing.
Yeah. It's so good
because it was so good, and I just didn't expect it. Yeah, but like it's funny because for me, I laugh for any scene that like makes me feel any bit uncomfortable. Like that's my defense mechanism. I laugh. So like I laugh like during the saddest scenes. I laugh during like, and everyone's like, "Why are you ruining this scene for us?" And I'm just like, "No, you're misunderstanding. This is my go-to defense mechanism." I just end up laughing. But yeah, when I look back, I just let out like a big laugh once he just said, because like I just didn't expect it, and I was a little bit uncomfortable.
I just love that when you finally find out that the main villain, like the villain reveal, because like Marvel for a long time used to do this, right? And or like in Disney films too, like the twist villain.
Yeah.
It's just there's something really satisfying about it, because the facade comes off, and it's hard to do. Like as a performer, like it would be really hard to do, and I think he does a really good job of selling it. That it's like you believe it, and you are like oh my God, I'm scared. Cause like, what is he gonna do?
Yeah. But all that being said, I also still think like Soo-hyun is great in these 2 episodes. Like
I
he's
know he's
also
eating it up.
equally
The
unhinged.
evil, like staring from like the ledge outside the apartment, just like.
There's the
"Ugh."
scene where he gets like a text from his mom and she's like, why didn't you do the thing I
He's
asked
like
you to do?
drinking,
And he's like, it's like so classic K-drama
classic
villain.
K-drama villain. It's
Like,
so good.
He's so pissed. It's so funny. Well, Dabit, thank you so much for coming on today. It was so much fun having you. Where can people find you on the internet?
Well, I'm streaming on Twitch right now, like 2 times on the weekends, and then 1 or 2 times on the weekdays, usually like Tuesdays or Thursdays. But you can check my schedule there. I also have a Patreon if you can't make my stream times, and I also am on Instagram as Dabit1205. I think all of them are Dabit1205. So yeah, whatever platform.
Great, and we'll link them in the show notes as well. So. You can find Dabit linked below. Dabit, thank you so much for coming on. It was so good to see you. So good to catch up with you.
Yeah, it was so good to see you again.
Anytime.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.